Hi there, welcome to Boxing Deep Dive. I'm Lyndon Hosking, and great to have you along to the Boxing Deep Dive show, episode 39. Who would have thought that we'd be at that point? And it's always a pleasure to bring you guys the show. We have lots of fun doing it. One thing that has been a little bit up and down lately is our roster of hosts. I'm going to bring in our co-host for this one, of course, Grant Taszyu Brown. But mate, again, you and Peter just like ships crossing in the night here.
Yeah, mate. Look, he's a busy man, mate. He's got all these awards to go to, and he told me many years ago, mate, back in '04 when I met him, he goes, "Stick with me, Taszyu. I'm a movie star in this town." So he's a movie star, mate. He's got red carpet events to go to. He's got awards nights, and mate, me and you are just two humble ex boxers, mate. That we haven't got much else to do on a Thursday night, Lyndon. So here we are.
Here we are, mate. But it's good to have you along, mate, because it's always plenty to talk about. And of course, this week, and obviously news dropped yesterday, and we'll go over that in a second. But as always, mate, never a dull moment in not only Australian boxing but world boxing.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, look, I mean, there's always something going on the world level, but Australia lately,
on fire.
The last few years, mate, Australian boxing sort of really hitting a golden era. Opportunities, fighters winning world titles, fighting for world titles, and it's pretty special.
Yeah, well, we're going to cover all that tonight because plenty to talk about. Obviously, we'll start with the Aussie news as always, and we've got Nikita Tszyu fighting next week, but his big brother's decided to crash the party because yesterday the big news dropped. Tim Tszyu will get his shot at undisputed super welterweight champion Jermell Charlo on January 28, 2023, if you will. So, mate, obviously it's great news, but we've got a little bit of time to wait.
Yeah, I messaged Tim yesterday and Glenn. They both messaged me back and said congratulations. But yeah, look, it's a bit unfortunate that it's in January because we know that Tim Tszyu is an active fighter. He fights regularly. He really wanted this fight. I think November. Charlo, on the other hand, fights once a year. It's nothing different for him.
Yeah.
Which I think is a joke. We'll talk about it later, but I think it's a joke. Fighters fighting once a year. At that, even Mayweather fought 2 super fights a year. So, look, I guess beggars can't be choosers. It's unfortunate that it's 6 months away, but at least it's finalised. Tim has his date. He has his moment to shine, which I believe. And there's no doubt in my mind, and I'm not saying it because of my friendship with the Tszyu family, he's bringing those belts back. Charlo's a beast, but Tim is a beast too, and Tim will rise the occasion. And I think it'll be like when his dad Costa went over and shocked Zab Judah, a cocky American. I've got a lot of American friends, but we all know a lot of cocky Americans, and they think their shit don't stink. And Tim's going to take his heart. He's going to take his soul. So, I really believe Tim will bring all the belts back, and mate, it's his era.
I sort of see. I don't know what you think. I see Charlo as in the Tyson mold, not as good as Tyson, but he's a bully. He's got this persona of intimidation, being the bully, and that's the way he gets a lot of his opponents. I think the good thing about Tim fighting is Tim won't be intimidated. Tim won't, be overawed by the event. And, I'm with you, mate. I think he can definitely. It won't be easy, of course. He's not undisputed champion, for no reason. But, that's, as I said, I just see Charlo as that bully type of thing. And if Tim stands there and refuses to be intimidated or bullied, I think, as I said, the title's there for him to take.
Yeah, mate. Look, I don't know the Charlos, and I'm sure they're nice people. But how their persona, they're always angry. Like Tim said, they're always angry, whether they win or lose. Always angry, always playing the fucking blame game, always this and that. And, like a lot of Americans are like that. I've got a lot of American friends, but a lot of them are the bully tactics and the angry this and the angry that, you know what I mean? And Tim's not going to be bothered by that as well. His dad wasn't bothered by it. I mean, you know, you can play all that ghetto street shit, which is I think's all a joke because I don't believe in intimidation. You know, Tim's got to be there to punch him in the mouth, and we know Charlo's been beat twice. Like he's avenged those losses. Well, when I tell you, he's been beat once. He had a draw. I thought he should have got beat that fight.
Yeah.
But he avenged both those fights. If he takes Tim a bit easy, and I really want him to take Tim a bit easy, mate, think you're going to have an easy night, Charlo. Beautiful. But Tim Tszyu's going to come and he's going to make you wish. He's going to make you wish that you hadn't took this fight.
Yeah, we'll keep talking about it. Let's just hear a little bit what Tim had to say. He caught up with Ben Damon yesterday when the fight was announced, and this is what he had to say.
You've got this massive fight.
Yeah, finally, you know, it's been a long time in the making, and I'm so glad that we got the news, we got the nod ahead, you know, so now it's all go.
What's it been like for you knowing that Jermell Charlo is your man, that you've got all these belts in the offing, but just waiting for this date and this venue and to find out how it was going to play out?
Yeah, look, it's an opportunity of a lifetime. So, you know, it was frustrating. But now that it is a go-ahead, we're getting it on.
So I did read also, Tazzy, that because I was just going to ask you about the date. I mean, January 28th, 6 months to wait. I mean, it's great that he's got the fight, but he must be sitting back thinking January 28th. Geez, and I've got the talking point to get to in a minute. I did read, though, that it wasn't totally on Charlo. There was an issue with the venue. I am hearing through the grapevine it's going to be Las Vegas. I know it hasn't been released yet, but I'm just a couple of little birdies told me it's probably going to be Las Vegas, which would be great. But there was some issues with the stadium there. And a few other bits and the PBC schedule and all the rest of it. So, but still, 6 months. I was just going to say before I let you comment on the talking point here, mate. One good thing about it, if you're out there watching, January 28th, there's good and there's bad news. There's the good news is, of course, Tim's got the fight. The bad news is January 28th. But, however, I see the good news is that all you guys out there that are chomping at the bit to get over and get to Vegas and support Tim, you've got 6 months to not only save to go, but you've also got 6 months to talk the missus into letting you go.
100%, mate. And look, I was aware PBC had other dates, and there was other fights. I hear Wilder, I hear Gervonta Davis. Like, I do know there are schedules and all that. But it doesn't bother Charlo because he's used to fighting not very often. Tim is used to fighting regularly. And that's, so, look, it is what it is. The date's set. We can't do nothing about it. I'm sure Tim will prepare like a surgeon. He'll probably do, 1 or 2 camps in America between now and then. And it is what it is. But, look, real fighters, I say real fighter, he's the undisputed champion. We're not going to say he's not a real fighter. He's a future Hall of Famer. I just like to see fighters fight regularly like Canelo does, like James Toney used to, Chavez, Terry Norris. I mean, 1 or 2 fights a year in that. Unless, you major events like Mayweather. But Mayweather, in his prime, never fought twice a year. I mean, it's shit. I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. Well, this is gonna go into our talking point number 1. I'm gonna throw this in here because I don't want to wait to the end of the show to go over this one. Tim Tszyu should take a fight before Charlo. Now, I put this in there, but I know he can't. Is that part of the agreement?
Oh, I don't know about agreement, but how can you risk it, mate? How could you risk it?
That's why I put the question out there, because it poses that catch-22 question, isn't it? That should he take a fight? Because you said yourself he likes to keep active, but on the other hand, does it give his hands more time to heal? Does it give him more time to have different camps? Obviously, taking other fights, massive risk. So, what do you think?
Nah, mate. Look, you just can't, mate. I mean, are you gonna race? Are you gonna race Far Lap? A couple of days before the Melbourne Cup, you can't risk it, mate. Your hands, cuts. In case something happened, you just can't, mate. You can't risk it. Not for when all this is for everything. You can't.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And as I said, obviously that's why it's a talking point, because I think Tim would probably like to have a fight, but on the other hand, like you said, you know, I'm sure Glenn Jennings is in his ear saying, mate, we know you'd love to fight, but you know, this gives you hands time to heal. It gives you, obviously, the date's set. Let's just take it all back a cog, and let's just take a breath, and then, you know, just tread water, I suppose, for a couple of months, and then hit the ground running, and away we go.
Well, Lyndon, you know the team he's got. He's got the best team in Australian boxing.
He has,
so, you know, I'm sure, mate, they'll set their schedule, and you know, it's they'll be good to go when they need to. Yeah.
So for everyone out there, I'm sure, mate, I don't have to ask you whether you'll be there. I know you will, and you know I'll be there. But if you're out there and you're thinking about going, then we'll be there, and I'm sure there'll be about 1,000 other Aussies over there. So if you are deciding to go and you've got no one to go with, don't fret, because if you go over, you'll have a ton of people to hang out with, including us, if that's what you want to do.
Well, mate, look, I'm feeding off offers, mate. I want to be there representing Boxing Deep Dive. I've got Fight Hub. I've got secondsout.com, what me to cover. You know, I'll be there with the media. I'll be there with the accreditation media pass. Anyway, that's all you need to know.
Yeah, it should be good, mate. It's going to be awesome, and I'm sure, as I said, there'll be a shitload of people go over there to watch him fight. So stay confirmed. Apologies for the graphic on there. It does say January 23. It's actually January 28, 2023, which will be January 29 in Australia. Still keeping on the Tszyu family. Next Wednesday, July 20th, so it'll be the night before we do our next show. Of course, the rivalry, Tszyu versus Horn, July 20th. It's probably been buried a little bit with all the Tim Tszyu sort of news, mate, but still it should be a really eventful night. The card's great. I'll go through that in a sec, but it should be a good night of boxing on Fox, all for free.
Yeah, no, look, it's going to be a great night. I'm still a bit bummed out that I'm not.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not in the main corner against Nikita, but things happen in boxing. But obviously we were meant to be on that card. But look, mate, you know, I'm very happy for Nikita. He's staying active and he's coming along beautifully. You know, he's got that glimpse of that, I don't know, like a mad scientist. He's got that sort of cheeky look on his face, and you know, he's a bit different to Tim, but he's mate. I'll tell you now, mate. I would like to be facing him, mate, 'cause he's got that little look in his eye, like he's just there to take your head off.
Yeah.
I think he takes care of Ben Horn pretty easily. I think they might. I don't know if they'll tell him to sort of don't go too hard too early because you need some rounds. So I won't be surprised if it goes past one round. But if it does, it's not going too many more.
Yeah, I'm with you. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's a 6-round fight. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes even 3 or 4 rounds, because I think you got to look at his first 2 fights. Obviously, it's that nervous energy. The first one out the road, you just put that one aside and you just get it under your belt and away you go. And the second fight, Nikita really didn't have much choice because Mason Smith actually come at him throwing bombs. He really didn't have a lot of. But I think Ben will probably fight a more calculated fight. I would assume that Glenn Rushton would be saying, take your time and, you know, maybe get a look at him. So I think it would be good, and I wouldn't be surprised if it goes 3, 4, even 5 rounds. Let's hope it even goes the distance for Ben Horn's sake. You know, apparently he's a good guy, and we don't want to see anyone get KO'd.
No, mate. Look, you know, seems like a nice guy. His brother's a beautiful guy, Jeff, mate.
Yeah.
It is what it is, mate. I'm just giving my prediction. I just think I wouldn't be surprised if it goes a little longer, but I think the result will be the same. I think Nikita will be too strong and have too much firepower for Ben. But well done for Ben taking a fight. As I said, you know, I wish we were there. But, you know, things happen in boxing.
Yeah, that's it, mate. It should be good on the undercard. Really good. We'll go through that few of the fights there. We've got Darragh Foley, Hunter Ioane, I think it's pronounced, Hunter. I think, look, Darragh Foley will be favoured to win that one. It's over 6 rounds, so it's going to be hot and heavy while it lasts, I suppose. We also saw Hunter when he knocked down Jacob NG last year, or the year before, whatever it was, in an absolute pearl of right hand. So he'll give, being only a 6-round fight, I think he'll give Darragh Foley a fair old run, because he won't leave it all hanging out there, will he? He loves to throw bombs.
Mate, he comes out letting bombs go. Look, there'll be fireworks from round one. I'm good friends with Darragh Foley. Got a lot of time for the guy, and he's got something to prove. He had done an interview today, sort of calling out everyone. So look, mate, there'll be fireworks for sure. Hunter will come to fight and he'll go out in his shield, but Darragh's back, mate. So I'm sure that he wants to make an impression.
Yeah, it'll be exciting while it lasts. Darragh Foley 19-4-1 against Hunter Ione 8-4-1. As I said, only been a 6-round fight. If you're going to be tuning in to watch the card, make sure you don't miss this one because there'll be definitely fireworks. The other one on the card, mate, Michael Hall against Joel Taylor. That's an 8-round fight. I know Joel Taylor pretty well. He's fought on a couple of my shows before. 7-0 against Michael Hall, 8-1-1. That'll actually be a good fight. I'm not sure whether you've seen Joel Taylor fight, but he goes okay.
Lyndon, I've took Bo down to spar Joel Taylor 50 times.
There you go. I'm sorry. So you know him well.
He's his trainer, great bloke.
Yep.
At the Shadow Gym, and I like Joel Taylor. I know the other chap as well. Bob Bo Belvin actually beat Michael Hall twice in the amateurs.
Okay.
But he comes to fight, mate. He's tough. He's strong. He looked very strong in that last fight on stand, on the what's the name undercard, Sonny Bill Barry Hall card.
Barry Hall, yeah.
This is a real good fight. Real good fight. I'll probably tip Joel Taylor. I think he's a bit neater, but being in Sydney with the judges and Michael Hall, there's pressure.
Yeah.
Mate, keep an eye out on this fight, everyone, because this fight's going to it could steal the show. I'm tipping Joel Taylor, but keep an eye on this fight. Trust me.
The other, the main support of the night will be the 10-round Sam Goodman, Juan Miguel Alorde fight, which will be a ripper too. Sam Goodman, 11-0, really has got some, got all the tools. His kid against Alorde, who's 29-2. It's for the IBF Intercontinental Super Bantamweight title and the WBO Oriental Super Bantamweight title. All these regional titles are always a mouthful, but you got to give the No Limit guys some credit because they're stepping Sam Goodman up in some very good fights to get him ready for when he takes that next step.
Yeah, they are, mate. Yeah, just like the old Liam Wilson, sort of similar.
Yeah,
mate. He's a good kid, Goodman. He's got a good fan base from down Wollongong way. It's quite exciting. Mate, he's got a very good career ahead of him. Yeah.
All right, so the rest of the card, we've got a 5-rounder, Ashley Sims against Jessica Adams, Chanel Dargan against Jayla Tomei. We've got Kate McLaren, Connie Chan, so another female fight. Angel Rushton, Ayesha Abed, so it looks like another female fight there. Jackson Murray against Parminder Singh, and another footy fight, Justin Hodges against Jordan Simi, who I know absolutely nothing about, but apparently is some social media guy. So, but let's focus on the main card though. So yeah, it's next Wednesday, July 20th on Fox and KO. So check it out. It's all free. So make sure you check it out. Should be a great night of boxing, and No Limit as always putting on quality events.
As always, mate. Unbelievable.
All right, I want to get to. I've been looking forward to talking about this one. And this is Shotgun Shannon O'Connell, Ebanie Bridges. There's a bit of a feud happening there. There's been a lot of shots fired across both bows, I suppose. And the question is here, will we see Shannon O'Connell and Ebanie Bridges at some stage? Before I'll let you comment, mate, I want to show you a video. It goes for a minute or two of a little bit of what Ebanie had to say, not only about Shannon O'Connell, but Sugar Neeks Johnson.
Have you on for a live Q&A, and naturally people flocked over. So Liam Rockwell in Australia, he asked, can you ask Ebanie who she would prefer to fight, Sugar Neeks or Shotgun Shannon O'Connell? Also, where in Australia would she prefer to fight?
These two girls, I mean, I think I beat them both. I honestly, either one of them, I really think I beat them both. Shanika's last fight, Sugar Neeks' last fight was, I mean, the fact she called me out after that fight was embarrassing. That performance was terrible. Shannon O'Connell hasn't beat anyone legitimate for so long. All she does is fight all the novices in Australia. and then claims to be a fucking queen. She beats 1-0, 2-0s, 3-0 novices in Australia. Like, do you know what I mean? The only time she's ever fought anyone decent, she's got beat. So, I mean, she's like a queen of a tiny pond of like these poor girls that have no other option but to fight Shannon to try and get a little bit of clout on their record because it's Shannon. And these girls that are turning pro with 2-3 fights, like, they've got nothing to lose to fight Shannon because she's so experienced. So it's win or lose, doesn't matter. So I don't know what Shannon really offers me. I think she's a bit of a nasty cunt, to be honest. And to be fair, like, she really needs me. She needs me because this is probably an Australian asking. And this Australian, but outside of Australia, no one really knows who these people are. So what is the point of me fighting them? She's not a Mandu. She doesn't have a belt. Neither does Nix. Nix isn't even in my weight class and she's calling me up. Like, these girls need me so much. You know what I mean? But the reality is I don't need any of them. And the reality is I beat them both. But I'm not really an egotistic fighter. I don't need to go to fight these girls for shit money in Australia, like, to prove anything.
Taszyu, what do you make, especially the see you next Tuesday comment? What do you make of all that? Oh, hang on, sorry, mate. I've muted you there. Sorry, mate. Go ahead.
I thought Shannon was a mandatory.
That's what that was going to be my point. When she says she's got nothing to offer her, well, she's your mandatory challenger. But apparently, I've done a little bit of research, and apparently in the female ranks, that mandatory doesn't mean like it does in the men's, where you're mandatory and you get the shot or they get stripped. It's a lot more flexible. So I don't know why even have a mandatory.
Why? Aren't we equal rights now? Why isn't things the same?
Yep. And I'm sure Shannon's asking the same thing.
Yeah, look, mate, I'll give her credit for what she's done, obviously, to get her name and status out there and to sign with Eddie Hearn and to win a world title. But to try and undermine Shannon's accomplishments is pretty pathetic. I mean, Shannon, to me, is the queen of Australian boxing and, probably the GOAT. So, I mean, look, obviously, there's a few fighting words there. But look, what other opportunities does she have? I mean, it would be a huge fight in Australia. I'm sure there'd be good money.
Yeah.
They could do it on an Eddie Hearn matchroom show in Australia or on a No Limit show along with Eddie Hearn. But I mean, yeah, look, I mean, me and you are both obviously, Shannon fans and friends with her, and especially yourself. I'm starting to get to know her too now through you and Glenn. She seems like an absolute champion, legend. And yeah, look, it is what it is. Words are words, mate. But I think she should fight Shannon. It's a perfect fight. A great Aussie battle. And I'll be looking forward to the weigh-in, obviously, as always.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna comment about it in a minute, but I want to put the talking point out because when it comes to these the weigh-in, when I put these things up, I want to throw the talking points in if they're relevant. And this is just a simple question. This is probably the way I feel. Ebanie Bridges just doesn't want the fight. Now, my comment to her would be, Ebanie, if you don't want the fight, just say you don't want the fight. I don't understand this whole. I can understand that. She's saying, well, I don't really have to fight her, so I'm not going to fight her. On the other hand, when she says, what does she offer? Ebanie, she's your number one mandatory challenger. She's regarded as the number one female fighter in Australia, of which you are a citizen, whether you like it or not. You got a lot of fans back here. I know you tend to do a bit of this to the people out there that give you a bit of stick out there, but I would think as an Australian, she would want the fight with Shannon to say, I am number one. It's one thing to get on these shows and say, I'd beat her and I'd beat her. She's your number one challenger. She's a fellow Australian who everyone, I would say 99% of people think beats her. Why wouldn't she say, I'm the true champion and I'm going to prove it? That's and I know you take the money and whether Eddie Hearn doesn't like the No Limit guys or whatever the hell it might be. In my opinion, if she's a true fighter and a true champion, she would be saying, bring it on.
does Eddie Hearn like the no limit guys?
Look, you know what it's like, though. I'm not. There's, you know what it's like. There's always this competitive thing about the different promoters and all that sort of stuff, and the one-upmanship. I'm not sort of talking about that, but even if there was a relationship issue between the promotional firms, mate, surely Ebanie says, "Get me Shannon O'Connell."
Bob Arum and Don King done business, mate. Bob Arum and Al Heyman done business, and rivalries don't matter when it makes money, mate. I'm with you. She should fight Shannon, 100%.
Yeah, and look. I don't know, to get on those shows, and look, it's got personal now, and that's between them. I'm not really interested in the whole, that sort of stuff. But
she likes dropping the C-bomb, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. And look, judging by watching that episode, I think a lot of UK fans were on there, and she's absolutely loved over there, and that's great. Good luck to her. I hope she's making money. What my point is, take all that away. If you're a serious fighter and a serious champion, and I'm not just saying this because it's Shannon O'Connell, but I am saying it's because it's Shannon O'Connell, if that makes sense. She's a number one challenger. She's regarded as the best Australian female, probably the best of all time. Fight her to prove that you are the champion, and tell Eddie Hearn, I want Shannon O'Connell. And on the flip side, the Shanika Johnson thing, look, I'll be honest with you, mate, and I've had my differences with Shanika over the years. If those two fought, Shanika Johnson would box absolute rings around Ebanie Bridges, if you ask me. Yes, she wasn't I don't think she was impressive in her last fight, I'll say, but she got the title, and I think she still has the tools to absolutely school Ebanie, and I think Shannon actually put some hurt on her. But all that aside, that's just my opinion. I'm sure there's people out there that have a different opinion. But the only way we're going to know is fight these guys. And I take the example here of George Cambosis. Now, love him or hate him, whatever, you cannot deny that he won the world title and said, I want the best. I don't want to fight nobody, whatever it is, the easy fights. I want the best. Pay me the right amount of money and let's go and let's get it on. And that is a real champion. Yeah, it didn't go his way, but he'll always have my respect because of just that.
100%, mate. He wanted Lomachenko first, and then wanted to get Loma. So then he went with
Haney.
With Haney, yeah, 100%. Definitely.
So I think if Ebanie wants a good, I suppose, role model, she did talk about George Cambosis in that interview. You want a good role model, follow that role model and be a champion and fight your challenges. Now, I will say before I move on, I can't say too much. Stay tuned on the Shannon O'Connell thing because there might be some big news that doesn't involve Ebanie Bridges at some stage. So just keep a lookout for that one. As I said, I won't say too much, but, Shannon could have some big news as well. But anyway, we'll move on. Speaking of other big news, mate, I just wanted to touch on this one. Not much has been said about it. It's Michael Zarafa, Squiver Falcao. I have heard some rumours that it's getting very close to being announced, but I can't 100% say it. I'm not sure whether you've heard anything.
No, I haven't. I think it's probably not far away as well.
I'm hearing that it might be October, which would be a really busy month for Aussies because that's when apparently the George Cambosis, George Haney rematch is going to happen. But yeah, I have heard through the grapevine that this will be October, maybe November. They're trying to get it to Australia, of course. So we'll see what happens there. But early tips, mate, just quickly, how do you think Zarafa actually goes against him? I must admit I haven't seen a lot of Falcao except for some highlights, so I'm not probably in a position to comment.
I've seen nothing at all.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know nothing about the guy at all. I haven't seen one thing of him.
What does that say about the ratings then?
Well, mate, Lyndon, go back in the test of time, mate. Go back to even some guys that were ranked number one for Chavez or ranked number one for Oscar, like African guys that got belt, mate. Like, there's nothing new. Yeah. If you win, there's been some Aussies that have been average and have got shots. They probably should have got blown out. If you win a regional title, Lyndon, and you have someone with money behind you paying the sanctional fees, defended a couple of times, you go from 15 to 12 to 10 to 8 to 5 to 4, and then you're at number one. So, not putting fighters down, but guys that haven't deserved more title shots have got shots all the time. So, I don't know enough about Falco. I don't know his amateur career. I'm sure he's obviously a good fighter.
Olympian.
He's not triple. Oh, well, there you go. He's not Triple G though. I think Straffer's got a good chance.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah,
I think this is his best chance. This is his best chance ever.
Yeah, and you're right. This is the guy that he is a perfect guy to get that title against. And look, Michael Zarafa and his team, mind you, have done a really good job. Again, whether you love him or hate him or whatever, the fact that he's positioned himself to get that world title fight.
Michael's a good guy, mate. I mean,
yeah, he is. So
I mean, he's a really, really nice guy.
Yeah, no, he is. So you look at the rest of this year, though, we could have this fight. We could have, obviously, we're going to have Cambosis. We could have the Maloney's involved there. Of course, there's Tim. It's going to be a very big year. Before we move on, mate, I just want to go to last week, and you see Justin Frost became a 3-time Australian champion. I didn't see it, I must admit, because it wasn't on beIN Sports. I thought it might have been, but it wasn't, and I didn't.
It wasn't on beIN Sports.
Nah, and I missed the stream. I had something else on, but congratulations to him. That was Ace Boxing, so congratulations to him to being a 3-time Australian champion. Before we move on to the world scene, mate, we went over this a couple of weeks ago when you weren't around, but I want to get your opinion on it. And this is the Australian top 10. This is the top 10 I put together, and I want your opinion. I think it might have been Mike I did this with. So I had Jai at number 1, George at number 2, Tim at number 3, the Maloney boys at 4 and 5, Liam Paro 6, Michael Zarafa 7, Shannon O'Connell 8, Liam Wilson 9, Dempsey McKeon 10. Now I think Mike might have had Tim Tszyu at number 2. I didn't go that far because I thought Tim hasn't fought since George fought. I'd much prefer to see Tim fight again before just elevating him. I think it'd be a bit harsh on George dropping from 1 to 3. I don't know about you, but what are your thoughts?
George only 2 fights ago did shock the world and win a world title. So I mean, look, you can't put him down any more than that.
Yeah. Any of the others you'd change?
Sorry?
Any of the others you'd change?
Yeah. Just let me check. Jason, Andrew, I agree.
Yep. There's probably a few. I think we agreed that probably from 7 onwards, you could probably have about 8 fighters for those 4 positions. So, I mean, you could throw Paul Fleming in there, even a Sam Goodman or a Justice Honey, or there's a few out there, but they're the ones I went with anyway.
Look, I don't know about Dempsey, what he's like.
That's a tough one.
What he's really sort of done. I know he's had a few fights overseas, but he's done nothing major. Hasn't fought anyone of much note. Yeah, I mean, great, good fighter and everything. I'm just, trying to be a bit picky here.
Yeah, no, that's fine, mate. As I said, I just wanted to give you a quick look at it to see if you make any change. Mike pretty much agreed with all of it, bar 1 or 2 things.
Look, mate, I'd have to be a bit picky towards the end of it, but I mean, I can't really say much wrong with it unless I really got down the line. But from 1 through to, look, I think it's fine. I don't think anyone else is really making that much noise at the moment that you'd say. I mean, Liam Wilson just was a main event and beat a top 5.
But I think the good thing. Brock Jarvis,
Brock beats Paro. If he beats Paro, but I wouldn't have him in yet. But if he beats Paro,
go to number 6.
Yeah. And no disrespect to Brock, I love Brock. I'm just saying, like, it's what you've done recently. You've got to be a bit picky, don't you, with these lists?
I think the good thing about it all, though, is that look, the quality in there is we haven't seen that sort of talent for a while, I think, and the fact we're debating about who to go in and not. But look at that top 5 and 6. I mean, it's just amazing that we've got those.
That's 100%.
Just amazing. All right, mate, let's get on to the world news. And last week, I think there was only one thing we actually went over. It wasn't much to talk about. This week, there's been a couple of things. Look, the main one, I'll put this in there, I suppose, was Derek Chisora beating Kubrat Pulev by split 12-round decision. I must admit, I only saw the highlights when I sort of did this. I wasn't too excited about it, but Chisora won 116, 114. 116, 112, and Pulev was the winner on the other card, 116, 112. But I suppose, Tassie, the question I suppose is asked now is that what is the future for Chisora? Does he have a future against those top guys? He's fought most of them and lost. Does he get another crack at it, or is he pretty much just a journeyman now?
I think he's like a bit better than a journeyman. Like he's look at who he's fought. I mean, Lyndon, does Justice Hooney beat a guy like Chisora yet?
I would think he'd be a pretty good shot, to be honest.
I don't know, mate. I don't know yet.
Yeah, look, it might be a little bit early, but I think Justice Hooney would make that a real fight. But anyway, I suppose we won't know. But.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's you know, mate. Look, he's just a great sort of war. I mean, he's a great testing point for. I mean, he gave Usyk, you know, some trouble. And guys that are coming up like that. I mean, Pulev has been a good fighter too. I mean, he's good enough to beat the guys that are a bit lesser and loses to the top one. So, mate, he's still getting paychecks and he's still. I mean, look, he's just a really good a really good tough veteran, mate. I mean, you know, he's on his night, he can still give anyone trouble.
Well, apparently he's called out Deontay Wilder, so that would probably be a good fight.
Wilder needs. I mean, Wilder needs sort of fights like that to get him back in contention. You know what I mean? And if Wilder was a knockout Chisora, that would make a statement.
Yeah. Well, he's been around a while, and yeah, maybe there is some other fights for him, but he has fought you know, the top guys and hasn't been able to get the job done, but you never know. So that was him on the weekend. The other fight only happened, was it last night or the night before? Kazuto Ayoka, I hope I've pronounced that right, defeated Donny Nietes to retain the WBO Super Flyweight title. On this one, now the scores were 120 to 108, 118 to 110, 117 to 111, and obviously the reason this fight has so much relevance to us is because Andrew Maloney has his sight firmly set on this WBO title.
Yeah, mate, I love Japanese boxing. You know, they're just always got a few world champions, especially in the lower weights. They're just amazing. So, yeah, if this is the path Andrew wants, mate, I hope Andrew Maloney gets the opportunity. That'd be great.
Yeah, and I think both Maloney boys are in really good positions at the moment. They're all they're all ranked. I think Jason might be ranked 1 by the WBC and WBO, or one of them. He's ranked number 2 with 2 of them anyway. So he's got some big fights going. This super flyweight division though is obviously super competitive, but this is a really good route for Andrew to take. And you know, who knows? Maybe he might get his shot in the year. I've seen him campaigning pretty heavily on social media. So obviously they've targeted this guy, and he thinks he can get the job done.
Well, mate, we're both obviously big fans of Andrew Maloney and Jason, so let's hope in 2023 that they both hold world title belts. You know,
Yep.
it'd be amazing.
All right, another bit of world news I just saw as well is a proposed fight between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn. They're in talks for October 8. Now, I didn't think this fight would happen because of the weight difference, but apparently it's going to be at 156. That'll be the catch weight. So, yeah, I mean, look, I don't think fans probably outside of the UK, unless you're a really hardcore fan, of course, would probably find this too interesting. But no doubt if it's in the UK, it would be big business over there.
I'll tell you what I think. I think Conor Benn is a great prospect. And I'd say why risk someone like fighting a good fighter and Eubank can fight. A bigger guy like Eubank when you're on a path to world title. But I'll tell you now, Lyndon, the welterweight titles are all locked up for a while. Crawford and Spence, no one will get a look in until Crawford fights Spence. Then above Ben, there's Boots Innes. He'll get a shot before him. And then there's Virtual Ortiz. So I think they might be saying, look, you're going to be aged before you get an actual shot. And actually, do we want a shot against these top guys anyway? Because they both beat you, and so did Innes, and probably they all beat you. Take a big money fight, family rivalry with this guy in between. If you lose, you lost to the bigger fighter. You're still sort of no worse off. That's what I think. Because otherwise, you wouldn't be steering him away from getting a world title shot. But the waterweight belts are locked up. They're locked up.
Yeah. Yeah. So who do you think would win? Because we've got obviously the size difference, but you've got Conor Benn going up, but you've also got Chris Eubank coming down. He's been fighting at 168. This is 156. That's 12 pounds. A lot of weight to lose to come down for the fight.
Yeah, it's a weird one, man, because I feel like I want to see more from Eubank. Like, I think he's got the skills, but I haven't seen him turn it on.
Yeah.
And then Ben's got a lot of explosiveness. Would the weight affect Eubank too much, mate? It's a really good, like, I actually don't know at the moment. I'm not going to give a tip yet.
Yeah, probably a bit early. Well, I suppose I'll wait till they actually get the fight done, because Eddie Hearn has been known to throw a few Easter eggs out there, and we'll just see what happens. Mate, let's get on to the talking points. We obviously had a couple already. We've got another couple to get through as well. Always plenty to talk about in boxing, mate. You all right there? You need a Red Bull or something there?
Yeah, mate, if I have a Red Bull, I won't be going to sleep. I had a fairly long day, mate.
Yeah, all good, mate.
It's all good, brother.
All good. All right, we've got a couple of talking points to get through. The first one, I want your opinion on this one. Isaac Harbin will be a better fighter because of the Zerafa loss.
Yes.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Yeah, you obviously would have watched his last. Well, I mean, we couldn't take much out of that. It was a bad knockout of Bo Hardis, but I just almost like the change of his whole demeanour and his attitude. I mean, I love the whole larrikin part of him, and you know, he's a great guy and everything else. But I just got a feeling that, you know, he's a type of fighter who is very, I won't say ego-driven, but self-belief, and, you know, because he's knocked a lot of guys out. And I just think this fight, the Zerafa loss, has just made him look at it and go, okay, well, now I know the level that I have to be at and where I need to be, and I'm going to make the adjustments and do it properly. And I just can't go out there and knock everyone out there, because like it or not, Zerafa is a very, very good fighter, and I just think he learned the hard way. And I just get the impression, looking at the interviews and even the way he approached the last fight, I just think he's matured as a fighter, even in that short time.
Well, I mean, I don't understand why everyone was able to underestimate Zerafa so much anyway, because, as I said, I mean, Zerafa's fought the top competition. Yeah. And, you know, he can fight. So, I mean, Zerafa was never going to just fall over in the first round. It was never going to happen. So, but yeah, look, I think it definitely helps Harmon. Mate, he's a great guy, and him and Blair, they're good people. I caught up with him in Brisbane.
Oh, good.
At the Justice Sweeney fight. And, mate, look, I think he definitely will. I mean, the worst thing happened. He had a knockdown. It got stopped quickly. He didn't cop a 10-round bashing. He wasn't knocked unconscious. He lives to fight another day. He dared to step up. He did, and now he knows, you know, where he's at. Yeah. And he rebuilds, and he comes back, mate. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you know, there's no harm, no foul. He wasn't hurt from it. He would have been probably good 10 minutes after that. I mean, it's just in boxing, it only takes that one shot, and if you don't show the referee that you're okay, then it's over, and you're thinking, fuck, I'm good to go a minute later. But that's the box. So I think he's fine. I think he'll be fine. He's one of the most exciting guys in Australian boxing, and everything he brings to it, the whole show, including his entrance, is awesome.
I think, too, the good thing about, well, not that there's a good thing, I suppose, but if there's anything good to come out of that knockout loss to Zerafa, like you said, it wasn't like it was a 10-round accumulation of punches, and he took a lot of punches and was knocked out by, you know, fatigue or the volume of punches. It was one of those shock knockouts. He was caught cold. You recover from those ones really, really quick, and I don't think it'll have any everlasting effects on him. But as I said, I really liked just his whole demeanour before, you know, in the lead up to it, not only in the fight itself, but the interviews. And I just think as it says there, I think he'll become a lot better fighter because of it. And now more than especially, he knows you just can't knock everyone out in 1 or 2 rounds, and you gotta put your little pieces in place and your little traps and all that sort of stuff, and get the win. So yeah, so hopefully he will come back. And I think I'm hoping that Bo Hardis has woken up by now, mate. I just felt so sorry. I'd actually said on the last week's show that. It was really hard to take because, his wife was there and his mum was there, and you just never want to see that. But I just said last week that is a stark reminder of how brutal this game can be.
You don't want to see it, Linda, but it's part of the game, mate. It is what it is, brother. It's what you sign up for. So I'm happy everyone can go home with their family, but I don't really feel sorry for guys getting knocked out because that's the way it is, mate. I mean,
TikTokers take note.
As long as you can go home to your families and there's no long after effects, but it is what it is. It's a fight game, mate. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, that's what I said. YouTubers, TikTokers, footy players take note, and influencers and all that, because this is a reminder of.
I haven't done this for a while. Fuck all these TikTokers, social media people, fucking corporate fights. Like, fuck off. You're not boxers, mate. You either fight properly, amateur or pro.
Great leadway into the next talking point, though, mate, because I want your opinion on this last one. Oh, hang on. I've got 2 to go. Sorry. Tyson, hang on. I'll go. I actually haven't. I'm going to go back to that one. Jake Paul is taking his steps towards legitimacy. Now, it's fighting Hasim Rahim Jr. Is that the first step of being taken seriously as a proper fighter?
Well, I don't know. I don't know much about him. I know his dad, and he actually has. He's had fights, yeah. He's had proper fights.
Yeah, he has. Yep.
Well, I guess he is, isn't he?
I'm gonna, while we're speaking here, I'm gonna type in his box rec. He is. He's 12-1, based on he's 12-1 with 6 KOs. So.
How long ago did he fight?
He fought, his last fight he got stopped, that was in April this year, against James Morrison, who was 19-0. So it's not a bad loss up till then. Look, the records of his opponents weren't great, but still 12-1. It looks good, it's marketable, but I suppose we'll see.
Well, I guess he is stepping towards legitimacy then, isn't he?
Yeah. All right, well, let's go back to that one about Tyson Fury. He's missing the limelight. Now, I'm going to put this up. It's a little bit hard to hear, but I got a bit of a laugh at it, and that doesn't like to be out of the news, does Tyson. Here's the video.
So, come on, retirement. I'm fighting for growth. However, the terms are this. We want to have Wembley Stadium. I want it free to enter, and I want it free to air television in this country. Yeah! That's what I want. You heard it here first, and this is going to be in every newspaper tomorrow. You heard it here first, and I mean what I say. I'm fighting for free in England.
So what that is, it's a little bit hard to hear, but what he's saying is with Anthony Joshua, if he wins, he said he'll fight him for free as long as there's free entry, free TV, and he'll fight Anthony Joshua for absolutely nothing. Now, I know, as I said, is that what they're saying there? Tyson Fury is missing the limelight, just likes to put those little things out there to keep in the news.
Tyson's still got the WBC belt. He hasn't officially relinquished it. And if Joshua wins, that's the fight we've all been waiting for years. So it'll be for all the belts. So I suppose he's still kept his name out there. But I mean, mate, that fight most likely will happen if Joshua wins.
Yeah, I think so. I think what would be good. It's great for him to say that, but if it did actually come to something, along those lines, it'd be good to actually say we're not going to do it for free, but we're going to donate all the money to charity. That would probably be a lot better to do. But anyway, we love Tyson Fury, and hopefully he comes back.
They should donate it to the Bendigo Council, mate.
Yeah, they need to, the Bendigo Council. Hey, before we go, I want to just, I didn't mention it before, we've got some cards this weekend. We'll give them a bit of a shout out. The New South Wales, Bilal Dib is fighting Satnam Singh, 25-3 is Dib. 10-1 is Singh. Alex Walters, Lockie Higgins on the undercard. The Dib Singh fight is for the IBF Australasian Super Featherweight title. Alex Walters, Lockie Higgins, the Australian middleweight title. There's one fight on the undercard there. Ali Elric, 6-1-1 against Arun Antil, 8-4-1. My only advice to that would be is just tread lightly with the Arun Antil. I had him on my card a couple of years ago, and he quit in 20 seconds. Just turned his back and quit against John Minu, so just be wary of that one. Another card there. I'm not really... Yeah, you're at that show. I'm not really sure of this one that's in Wollongong. Looks like Travis Druce, Wirachit Kitty. I'm not sure. Sky Falzon and Pam McLaughlin on the undercard, so I'm not quite sure who's promoting that one. Surface Paradise, Liam Callahan, Nepate Dawadawi. I don't know these international fighters, but that's a card up there. Not sure who. Clay Waterman's on that card, so that should be okay. That hasn't got an opponent there. But
Jamie Meyer. Jamie
Meyer. Okay. Yeah. Of course, Gold Coast. So that's a good one. But this one, Wild Fighter. Always good fights with Wild Fighter. Blake Wells, Thomas Wilkins will be on there. Max Reeves, Leo Grant is the main event. So keep a lookout on the undercard for Caesar African. Hasn't got an opponent there, but this kid is a genuine prospect and one to watch as well. Excuse me, 2-0-1.
The first show is my brother Billy Hussein's promotion, Body Punch. So shout out to Billy Hussein. Shout out to Bilal Dib, Yusuf Dib. He's fighting as well.
Oh, is he? He is. Yep.
Yeah, and good luck to Alex, obviously going for the middleweight title. Tough fight against Bubba, because Bubba could fight.
Yep.
I was going to go to that this weekend, but I'm not now. But good luck to my Body Punch brothers up there in Lakemba. Alhamdulillah. And then, good luck to all the cards this week. Wild Fighter, Jamie Meyer. Doing good things for boxing.
Yeah, no, it's good. And we'll continue to give him a bit of a shout out there. So that's it for this week, mate.
And
I'm hoping.
Shout out to Big Billy Hack up in New Norfolk, Tasmania. I'm back, Billy. He loves his show. He watches it every week, and he missed me dearly. But I'm back, Bill. I know the show. It's still a good show, but not the same about me, mate. It's not the same. You can have your Peter Maniatis. You can have your Mike out tomorrow. God bless you, Mikey. But it's not the same without the Tasmanian Devil, and we all know who that is.
Nah, all good, mate. Well, hopefully he's back next week. We haven't done the quiz for a while. I've got a feeling he's trying to avoid you, to be honest. And we're on about an eight winning streak, so...
Well, wouldn't you, Lyndon, when you had your pants pulled down 9 times in a row and been spanked? Like, you know what I mean? I mean, George got beat fairly convincingly by Haney, but nothing compared to what I do to Peter every week.
I know.
I mean, you know, in between having his baklava and his little short black coffees, I mean, he just can't do it.
Yeah, he's a bit gun shy, is Pete. You can't sort of blame him for being a bit gun shy at the moment about those blows coming at him. But all good, mate. Really good to have you back. As I said, hopefully Pete's back next week. We can talk plenty of boxing. We'll have a lot to talk about, of course. And look forward to seeing you then.
Always good, Lyndon. Thank you very much. And everyone out there, keep on watching.
Thanks, mate.